I guess wrapping up then, Sarah, first of all, from you hearing that, how can organisations be more proactive about starting that journey? It's obviously quite complex. It can be quite complex depending on what you've got. But what are some of the more fundamental things and proactive things that people can be doing?
Yeah, just picking up on what Rob was saying there. So if we're thinking about getting access in and that elevation of privilege, so really we have to embrace the principle of least privileged. As we sort of said, is not having open-ended access rights, just having the principle just in time and just enough access. So if that change is only supposed to take 5 minutes, you only have 5 minutes access and it's closed down. So even if that account was compromised, they're kind of stuck with what they can do. The other second point then is preventing that lateral movement, is having network and infrastructure segmentation as well, particularly between your on-prem and cloud environments. So again, even if you were compromised, they're kind of, again, they're boxed in with how far they can go and what they can do. And kind of the third point really, when we talk about that vulnerability and that vulnerability scanning, so that scanning and looking for where those unpatched, unsupported servers and network points are, is important for you to do because the attackers are doing the exact same thing. They're looking for the vulnerable entry points. They're looking for what isn't being monitored. And they will run the same scans in technology as well to see what scans you're doing at the same time. So I think it's really looking at, again, what's exposed to the internet. Can you reduce that technical debt by, even if you can't upgrade or some of these out of support or unpatched services, can you box them in with VPN access, those type of things. So it's really ultimately it's about slowing down the pace of attack and trying to disrupt their return of investment as well.
Brilliant, thanks, Sarah. Adam, same question to you. How can organisations proactively help go on this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you really do need to understand those assets and those services. And I think part of that proactive and kind of pragmatic element is about engaging with the teams that are responsible for those to help them understand some of those weaknesses and what they can do to improve them, because none of those teams want their services offline or compromised either. And actually, by working with them and addressing some of those problems upstream, you can prevent yourself having to respond so much. I think it's absolutely key around that, which is, you should vigorously defend your identity stores. I mean, certainly in that kind of least privilege model, those are absolutely your crown jewels and your assets, and that should have absolutely layered and ringed defenses around them. And if you don't, that's always an area to reinforce. But yeah, absolutely. It's about that proactive engagement and kind of helping people understand that landscape. And one of the things you can really drive in with automation and making better use of your existing tools is your people cannot proactively engage with those other units in the kind of open and constructive way they want to, if they're so busy firefighting and responding to kind of some of those kind of noisy alerts and tools. So actually, by throttling your own demand, you free yourself up the capacity to help and support other people, because those other areas aren't well resourced either. And effectively being able to actively engage with them and help them address concerns in their area, you'll get a much better response and start to break down some of those barriers for the security function can often face as well.
Thank you, Adam. And Rob, final comment from yourself then.
Yeah, sure. So thank you everyone for talking about XDR today. I hope we've demystified some of it, talked about some of the great advantages XDR provides. I guess from my perspective, the final thing for me is to think about how you utilize technology like that to create an effective security operation. And that's what we believe is the most important part. It's connecting the people 24/7 who've got the skills and expertise to get the most out of the technology that you're procuring and deploying, or help you procure and deploy it as well, clearly. But we think that, just as important as buying the technology is thinking about how you're going to maintain, manage it, and run a 24/7 operation.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rob. Well, one final piece of wisdom from me, just to add to that amazing panel session there. Just before you start on that journey, just go and check your backups and make sure that they're taken and they work, because Sarah said it earlier, assume that you will get compromised and you'll be okay. Guys, thank you very much, Sarah, Rob, Adam, really, really appreciate it. Everybody, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, by all means, get in touch with us, and hope to see you soon.